Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are about to begin our program today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir, Rabbi tamim bil khair, ya arhamar rahimin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Let us begin our session today by recitation of Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okay, respected Honorable Professor Aziz Baharuddin, Dean of ISTAC, respected Professor Murad, respected Dato Baharuddin Ahmad, our speaker today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, who are here face to face as well as who join online. Welcome to the al-Attas lecture series number 2. I'm Brother Fazli Omar. I'm the MC as well as moderator for today. So without further ado, I would like to invite Professor Aziz for a welcoming speech. فليتفضل مشكورا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Dear brothers and sisters, our guest of honor, Dato Baharuddin Ahmad, welcome to this very important session in our series of lectures that has been mooted recently to populate the library and disseminate the ideas of great scholars of the Ummah. Brothers and sisters, it's a great honor for us today to have with us one of the very important scholars who contributed a lot to not only to ISTAC but to IIUM in general. Dato Baharuddin Ahmad was one of our administrators and scholars in ISTAC here, the International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization. I think today Dr. Baharuddin will be speaking about one of the very important topics of more interest and merit to be discussed by scholars, researchers, and students. I believe this topic, major ideas behind the development of the Syed Muhammad Naquib al-Attas library, is a very important topic in the history of this institute. As you are all aware, the place and contributions of Professor Naquib al-Attas in founding ISTAC and the development of ISTAC. And not only this, but his ideas, views, and writings that shaped thought of many great scholars, researchers, students, not only in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia, but in the entire world, brothers and sisters. The value of this lecture here comes from the value and the contribution of this scholar. So it is really a great honor to have a person like Dato Baharuddin to be here and tell us about the development of this very precious library, richness not only of architecture, but of the collections, of the ideas, of the ambience that has been created here for the scholars, for the researchers. And our management of ISTAC today is promoting the library not only to the local scholars, universities, people, but to Southeast Asia and to the world at large, brothers and sisters. Our plan is to make this place a center of real deep learning of Islamic thought and civilization. So I really appreciate and thank our guest of honor, thank also the library and the head of library, Brother Fazli, and also Professor Murad and the team who mooted this series of ideas. Inshallah, we will be listening to our scholar. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Professor Abdul Aziz. Okay, for your information, the al-Attas library received 300 above researchers, scholars, students who do their research here last year, 2020. And then the numbers keep on going for this year, And this al-Attas lecture series is another platform to promote the Syed Muhammad Naquib al-Attas and its collection to the students, researchers, and community as a whole to make use of these gems and treasures. Okay, the name of al-Attas library is named before Syed Muhammad Naquib al-Attas library, who was launched on 22nd May 2012 by Dato Jamal Khair during that time. Okay, for this second al-Attas lecture series, the major ideas behind the developments of the Syed Muhammad Naquib al-Attas library, which will be presented by Dato Baharuddin Ahmad. Okay, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, let me draw your attention to the biography of and also the expertise of our speaker today. Okay, Dato Baharuddin Ahmad, presently as a distinguished fellow for the Muslim World Research Center, Kuala Lumpur. He is not aliens, or he is very familiar with this estate, because before this he was research fellow at the International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization estate for 2019 and in 2020. And then before that, he was associate professor here also in estate for the year 1992 until 2013. And he was graduate assistant for the university professor at the Islamic Studies, George Washington University for the year 1987 until 1989. The areas of specialization by Berbahagia Dato was philosophy, religion, comparative religion, philosophy of the arts, Muslim Sufism, Islam and other religions, thought and civilization. His publication were 13 altogether, which the latest one is for Baharuddin Ahmad, Pengenalan Hikayat Abdul Qadir Munshi. Is that right, Dato? Yeah, there is the latest publication forthcoming. And then his introduction, forward, preface, article, and so chapters, there are altogether 44. So which the latest one is the title of Notes of Hikayat Binatang of Abdullah Munshi. This Hikayat Binatang also available here, the rare in our rare collections inside this seminar. Okay, for the translation, he got 14. The latest one is Reviving the Balance, which will be published by IIIT Washington. And then there are 6 book review. The latest one is the under the Islam and Confucianism, together with Dato Osman Bakar and Cheng Nai. Okay. For the research project, Dato got 5 research project. Koleksi bahan-bahan baru mengenai P. Ramlee, which is our great singer in Malaysia. For the paper presented in conferences and public lectures, there are 26. The latest one is Melayu Tanjung. Melayu Tanjung, Belief and Expression, the Spectrum of Self-Identity. So this topic is very popular and also draw the attention to our Prof Murad, Melayu Tanjung. And also Dato got 10 consultation, which one of them is the panel member of Judge Malaysia Novel Laureate Award, Ahli Panel Anugerah Sastrawan Negara for the year 1993 until 1999. And another term is from 2008 until 2012. Okay, got over 400 articles of newspaper in Bintang Timur, Mingguan Timur, and 100 titles, more than 100 titles in Dusa Malaysia, Mingguan Malaysia, 1992 until 1995. He got also celebrity in TV and also radio news. Okay, in many TV programs such as TV Al-Hijrah, Radio Bernama, TV Bernama, RTM, Iranian Broadcasting Corporation Service, RTM Radio, and etc. And then got supervision for master PhD for our ISTEC and so IEM. And then Dato got award Darjah Setia Pangkuan Negara, DSPN, which carries the title Dato right now from the Penang State government. So we are very lucky today to hear about the topic being presented by Yang Berbahagia Dato. And then he is, of course, the person who is very insightful for this Syed Naquib al-Attas Library collections, research, and the history. And then we are here eager to know what's what we call there in the library. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Yang Berbahagia, respected Dato Baharuddin to present. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Tafadhal.
Do you allow me to sit? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Alhamdulillah. Assalatu wassalamu ala ashrafi anbiya wa mursalin, Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Thank you for coming. And I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation for the interest in this topic. I was in ISTAC quite late compared to Prof. Wan Muhammad Noor and Zaini Osman, Prof. Zaini Osman. And of course, they should be the right person to hear and talk about ISTAC Library. But I think for some reason, Prof. Murad mereka must have tried them, and for some whatever reason that we shouldn't know, maybe, that I was called instead. And of course, I do not know much about the library itself, but being here for a long time, maybe about 22 years, and maybe 15, 16 years under al-Attas, I used to visit him in his office, and he started talking about many things since the old building until new building. And of course, you know, people like al-Attas, they don't talk much, even though they can talk for hours and hours, but he did a lot of thinking and contemplation. He's always contemplating on something and preparing ideas. He's a man of great ideas in many areas. And as a result, then he talked to me a few things about the library, about ISTAC itself, about the people in ISTAC and so on. And I benefited, and maybe I can be able to pass on to you some of those information. They may not be that much, but possible that people may not talk about it again later. So as for that reason, then maybe I should say a few words regarding this thing. Of course, the name of this, no proper name to this library before. And I was asked by the dean during that time, Prof. Ibrahim Zain, to consult with Prof. al-Attas himself of how to go about naming the library under his name. And I had quite a tough time meeting him 2-3 times and prepared the design for the for the library, and also what should be there. Is it in Malay, English, Arabic, and how that should it be sound? And I prepared the design, and I presented to him the design, and he agreed that the library can be named under his name, because this part of the agreement between him and IIUM in the court and in the settlement, out of court settlement, that the name, the library should be named after him, not the whole building, but the library itself, because of his great love for the library. And that was done, I think maybe like 3 years after the settlement, the out of court settlement between Professor al-Attas and IIUM. That was done and it was officiated. I think, I cannot remember now, probably by the Minister of Education then, not Anwar. But he didn't come. He asked Syed Ali Taufik instead to come to represent him, and Shifa al-Attas to represent him, and they came here, both of them. And it was officiated then, and name of library is until today is Syed Muhammad Naquib al-Attas Library. All right. And that's number one. Number two, he was also talking about the library over there in the First Institute building in Bukit Damansara. And of course, that library, he loved that library too very much, but the foundation was not strong. So after they putting a lot of books in there, and it start to sink down, maybe by 4 or 5 centimeters. So as a result, there's a need for a new library. And because the registrar then, Ma'ali, he managed to get a piece of land, like this piece of land, and in the land office, it is considered as the land belongs to the Ministry of Education. So he proposed this land, I think 33 acres, if I'm not mistaken. And he proposed that the new estate should be here. And of course, they have to do a lot of begging for the 200 million project. It's a big project. It will, and Dr. Mahathir, the Prime Minister then, was not keen to approve the budget. They say it's too much and so on and so forth. But because of, I think Dato Malik, one of the person named Dato Malik who lived in Kuala Kangsar, he was a very close friend of Dr. Mahathir. He finally managed to submit to Mahathir, and Mahathir signed. And as a result, then, yeah, of course, under the initiative of Anwar, of course, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, I just call Anwar. Sorry about that. Because we were kind of friends too. And he was my tutor during my undergrad days, when he was teaching the Islam dan Sejarah dan Kebudayaan Melayu. I don't know whether you have the book in the library or not. Do you have that? Islam dalam Sejarah dan Kebudayaan Melayu. I was taking that course with Prof. al-Attas, and Anwar was the tutor for that course. So masa Awang Sarian, Dr. ramai lagi, Dr. apa? Ramai lagi dalam ABKKM, we were taking that course, and Anwar. So Anwar initiated this when he was the Minister of Education, and he told Prof. Attas, he met Prof. Attas. He continued to meet Prof. Attas until now, I think. That Prof. Attas, you were talking about building a great institute of your own, thought and your own planning. Now I'm the Minister of Education. I can help you, assist you to get an institute established. But how to do it? It should be under UIA, because constitutionally, ISTEC cannot stand by itself unless the parliament must approve. And I think Anwar thought it's a bit hard to get the parliament approved, a big budget and a big building like this. So as a result, then Anwar said, we go through IIUM, because IIUM constitution allow an institute of IIUM. Which means institute of IIUM means ISTEC can be an institute under IIUM. But of course, Prof. al-Attas was not happy He always want an independent institute. He says something wrong can happen later on. It had happened already. and then I will negotiate with IIUM to make this institute as an autonomous institute. Instead of just an institute, it's an autonomous, which means it can do its own administration and so on, and get direct budget from the federal government, from the treasury, and so on. As a result, then the agreed, set up one institute there where it was too small, and then he said he doesn't mind building again another bigger estate, like this estate. Of course, Professor al-Attas, because of his keen interest in art and in design, since young, when he designed the UMNO flag and also the Angkatan Tentera Darat Malaysia and many other things. As a result, I say he would like to do, but he will do everything, he said. He will do everything means what? He will do everything in the design, the door, the floor, the hierarchy, the levels, and the carving, and the motive behind the carving, or the motives behind the carving, and everything. So he couldn't get the prior approval from the from the member. Such design, and the member has to change. Right? He said he will not over my dead body. I won't change anything. So his design was, I don't think it was approved until now. There's no CF until now, I think, for the building. Certificate of fitness. You don't have certificate of fitness. Because how are you going to escape with such a small door like that, a small windows like that? If any fire happen, you must keep some acts down here. Now, and then he said, all right, he will move. Then he built a library. And he said, the library is as important as the program. So there's a balance. This is what he told me, that the library is as important, even more important than the program itself. The library, I said, why? He said, professors come and go, but the library remain. So all the ideas of the professors, we go into the library. And professors make use of the library. And what we need to do is we collect everything, whatever they say, their notes, even small thing that they jot down here and there. We keep all in the library so that when people want to do any study of this professor or that professor, or people want to get some ideas, if they want to get some, they can come to the library and look at the small notes. A small note can mean a lot because that's the main point, the main idea of a person. You just put in a small note, but you cannot finish it. So he said, professors can come and go, but the library will remain for a long, long time. Of course, Professor al-Attas thought that the library should be a special one. It's not just an ordinary library. A library can have different features and different meanings behind the library. It can be a library for the public, it can be a library for the undergrads, it can be a library for postgraduate, it can be a library for research. That's why in Prof. Attas' idea, ISTEC shouldn't have just professors, but they must have researchers too. And the number of researchers must be as many as professors, or even more than professors. That's why we have like junior research fellow, senior research fellow, distinguished fellow for this, for the purpose of research and publication. Sorry. For the purpose of research and publication. Now, as I said, there should be a well balance between academic on one side and the library on the other. Both are academic, of course, but teaching on one side and research on the other side. And we have research fellows also. So if you go out from this building, you go to the fountain. There's the center point. There is the center of the whole estate is the fountain out there. So you can, both buildings, the old building as well as this building. So if you put your hand to the right, you have the library. If you put your hand to the left, you have the main building of programs. So, I mean, Prata was very detailed in this matter. So the totality, research and library, and also academic programs. You have the balance between the two. So that's why the library is, and of course he's lucky. He got the whole budget for both together and plan everything together within one budget, and it can be built together. It look the same, similar features, levels, almost similar levels, and hierarchy, and many other features, the mukarnas, and also all the writing, the crafts, the card, round, they all look the same, similar, because they are one, even though they are two, but they are one. The unity within the two buildings, unity within, not diversity between the two. Now, I said if you go in the middle, you have both hands. One hand pointing to the library, the other hand pointing to the program. So this house is like a crescent, like Bulan Sabit, like a crescent. A crescent has two horns. One horn is the library and the other horn is the program itself. Of course, and after building the library, and he visited many places in the world. He was given the privilege to visit different places in the world to see buildings, to take pictures, and to buy some stuff and so on. And then he made use of that. One of the places that he visited, I think the Library of Caribbean in Fes, the old Fes. And over there, he watched the various features in the library itself. And you can see those features in inside. I can show you the design of the Caribbean inside. So Caribbean is the beginning of the history. Of course, it's the oldest university in the world. It was in like 800th century or no, 8th century, 7th to 8th century. Toward the end of 6th century, or toward the early of 7th century, you can check. It's around that time, earlier than Al-Azhar, earlier than Zaytuniya library, the earliest. Well, he took some features from there, and of course the idea is also from Baitul Hikmah. The idea really from Baitul Hikmah during the time of Harun al-Rashid and the earlier Ja'far, and also later Al-Ma'mun during the Abbasiyah period. So over there, then you are beginning to have stuff that reflect Islamic, and then of course the Quran and the Hadith and the collection of Hadith. In fact, Ma'mun started with Umar Abdul Aziz, started to collect different type of Hadith and different ideas on Hadith, whether they are Hadith which are Da'if or Sahih or Hasan, and different Hadith, and also ideas and opinion of people regarding Hadith, because Hadith was quite a controversial and a problem during that time. People want to accept Hadith, people don't want to accept Hadith, whether mutawatir or not mutawatir, and those kind of thing. And then Ma'mun made a research. Now, from there, we can see many other concepts from the Baitul Hikmah. First of all, you have Islamic. Secondly, you have comparative. You're comparative, which means that Al-Ma'mun, he assigned people to learn Greek and to send them to Constantinople in order to translate the work from Greek into Arabic. And also he sent them to many other, to Iran, for example, and also to India. And all this collection financed, funded by Baitul Hikmah. As a result, you have a universal kind of knowledge. So in Baitul Hikmah, you don't have Islamic knowledge alone, but you have a universal type of knowledge of other aspects, knowledge of other religions and civilization. So we have the comparative study as the beginning of comparative study. A lot of Greeks writing and great writing which related to different areas like medicine, like music, like until we have people like earlier and the book were published and researchers were given, I mean, a big sum of money. I think 2 kilos of gold for translation. 2 kilos of gold. And today you have to give 10 kilos of gold. Actually. And also he sent them to Baitul Hikmah. You have a great collection of thousands and thousands and thousands of books. Because of the love for knowledge. Love for knowledge. The idea is transform. From God, we receive the first knowledge from God. The revelation itself is the highest. And then knowledge of mankind, of man, through the Risalah of the prophets, all the prophets. And of course, there's only the only sacred book that recognizes other religions is the Quran. You cannot find Islam in many other books except in a very, in a very non-direct way. It just maybe indications only. But the Quran mentioned about everything about the Majusis, about the Christian, and so on and so forth, and had not the name of God mentioned in the mosque, in the churches, in synagogues, in the place of worship, temples of the Majusis. These were very rare. People don't talk about it before. See, they indicate already the universality of knowledge. Of course, universality of knowledge had made many changes. Like, for example, the first person who traveled to the West, Journey to the West is called. And there are many Chinese films, Journey to the West. Xuanzang, Master Xuanzang, who went to India to learn the Mahayana philosophy of Vasubandhu, was a doctrine of mere consciousness. So life is mere consciousness, actually. It's not this, not that. So different than Madhyamika. It's all in the Mahayana Buddhism. And he brought back the book to China and spread Buddhism in China. So just one person, because of one book, Buddhism was explored both in Tibet as well in China. And the relationship between China and India started its the beginning of it with one person, that's Xuanzang. And later on was studied even in Java and also in Sumatra. Now, I said book plays such an important role. And of course, the Mongols, they destroyed all the book, not all, some survive, but mostly they goes into the river of Dajla until the third, I mean, they say the ink made Dajla become black and those kind of things. Maybe thousands, hundreds of thousands of books were burned and so on. The same thing happened to the Nalanda University in India. It was built during BC. And then it was in 6th centuries. Of course, there already you have the universal knowledge. If you go in Nalanda University, where Xuanzang went to India to study there, they have different music, they have medicine, they have this and that. That's why in Islam also we have many books like in medicine, in music, philosophy, theology, civilization, Malay world, as well as other worlds and other civilization. They're all mixed together because knowledge is one, finally. Just like God is one, knowledge is one, and man is one. And the whole world is one. That's the idea. So for al-Attas, he wants to make it in such a way that it may look like it doesn't belong to the modern world. Neither does it belong to the Stone Age. But it belongs to the middle, like Middle Ages. Middle Ages, of course, we cannot explain here. If I want to say something about Middle Ages, it's the most unique era in human history, where you have many, many things during the Middle Ages. During the Middle Ages, you have different type of knowledge, you have different type of civilization. You have the balanced knowledge between the old and the new. It's something like, it captured the various aspects of human mind into knowledge and production of knowledge. And it's balanced. If we compare to modern secular knowledge, then Middle Ages is a different time. So he wants to build something like a building or during the time of Middle Ages, because he is a man of Middle Ages too. If you look at him, I mean, his feature is also like Middle Ages, not like a modern man, and he behaved like a Middle Ages man also. So he has to. I said he visited the Caribbean. Caribbean is the oldest university that continue. Nalanda was older, of course, in India, but it stopped at one more time, and then they restarted again. Now they have restarted in full already. Now, what did he see? I see there's some design which I can show you. Some design that belong to Caribbean, and he has here the design around his neck. And then the library also has levels. The higher the levels indicate the higher the hierarchy of knowledge. And then he want the library to be like a resource center. A resource center is not only a library of books, but it's a library that indicate or featured the Islamic thought and civilization as a whole. So it's not just a library of books. So you have different kind of armored shields. You have downstairs, which he bought from, I think from, yeah, of course, from Europe, from Germany. But all are the replicas of the time of Ottoman Empire. They are replicas of the time of Roman Empire. So you can see that he has great love for Ottoman civilization. Now, as I mentioned to you that the carving of the woods, first we talk about the features of the library. All should be made of wood. And the wood has to be properly carved to indicate art, to indicate it has symbols. There are different types of symbols, as you can see in even the bookshelves, the old one. You can see a lot of like symbols and also a lot of carved. But all were done here in Malaysia. We took the ideas from many places, but it was done here. Of course, with his own innovation. Cannot be just like the original, but not exactly. But there are also some way, like some like kaki bola. You can see some like kaki. The kaki itu kaki binatang. Oh, the kaki dia macam kaki binatang ya, represent. So the outside world is inside the library, inside. So the macro, the idea of macro. So the macro outside world is in the macro, in the library itself. And all the design that you have, the bunga Tanjung, Emily, huh? Yeah. And also other design which I cannot really explain. And also this thing. This was in the collection during the Ottoman. I think al-Attas bought it from the Harasovic in Germany. So it was small, just like this big, just like the handphone. But and then al-Attas is no meaning, it's small. So he sent to China to repaint it, to repainting. During that time, it cost like 10,000 for painting. Now I think it may cost like 100,000 maybe for painting. So it was all repainted in China. This just to remind us, because rights and the library should be inside our mind also. And rights in our mind also we must add to writing and books and the library. So that's why we must always keep inside our mind of the past. The past teaches the future for us. So we must be, I mean, religious, because the concept of time is cyclical, it's not a straight line. So as a result, we move forward, but we don't just move forward. We move forward with what is behind us. So we carry it behind us and then we move forward. And then finally we return back to the origin, to the original. I think in everything it's like that. In geometry it's like that also. And then Dato said, you have this kind of unique, very cozy, library, very quiet. and you have people doing research. Even Karawi too. In Karawi also you have rooms for people to write books. Like you just go to a room, you lock yourself inside there, you are a part of the library, and you were given some salary just to write one book. And you prepare, make use of all the materials inside the library. You done, got finished, you get 2 kilos of gold, and that's it. You write another book. So the idea is also you can have here the cozy condition, situation where you have all the material inside, and people will help to provide you with whatever material there is. And as a result, you try to complete one book. That's good enough. If you complete one book, it's good enough. I said one book may change the world. Like what Master Swan Sang in India. One book can change the world. After that, I said there are place where individual scholar or individual writer can do their research in the library, and then the place should be like continuously active with publication. Publication also is a part of library. So it's the academic program, library, and publication all together. That's why there's a need for like researchers, as I mentioned earlier. There's a need for a lot of researchers, many researchers who are going to do, and then to add more. And then, of course, as you know, that there are collection from individuals. Oleg Graber, and then Fazlur Rahman, and then there are many more, maybe about 20. I do not know exactly. There are many more, right? Collection or individual collection. So why individual collection? Because one day people may want to write something about Fazlur Rahman, for example. There are scholars somewhere else may want to write about Fazlur Rahman. So he can come here. He can see all the books of Fazlur Rahman. He can see all the notes in between books. You have notes. You can see also some other things that will provide him with the spirit, with a strong, aspiration to write something about Fazlur Rahman. Or they may be able to have more knowledge about Fazlur Rahman after coming here. So the library will be more famous and popular because it has all these great thinkers. Well, I think al-Attas started the idea, but later on, some libraries here also are doing that. Still, I know that Aswara, where I work there as a professor, they wanted to have all my books and put in the collection, which I haven't been able to give the green light yet until now. But that's the idea. You have different figures, different scholars, collection in the library. Of course, we should add more to this so that we may have the Al-Faruqi collection or Lambia Faruqi collection and other Mahmud Ayub and others. Maybe from the Shiite world also. When we come to knowledge, we cannot between Shiite and Sunni. You see, like from Muhakkik is a Shi'i, and he came here for a long time, continued to come here. He published book in Iran, book which are related to Istak. Also, he published book of al-Attas himself, were published in Iran too. I think the library should have all the collection of books of al-Attas published in Iran. And some of Muhakkik writing were published here. And of course, Muhakkik also did some research here. And he came, I think about a couple of years ago. I don't know where he is now. Hopefully he's still alive and healthy. And he should come here again. Should be a visiting scholar again here from Muhakkik. Because he started together with Attas in terms of collecting books and so on. He collected the Shia side and al-Attas the Sunni side. Now, of course, in the old days, the man named Zaki in Kampung Baru, he used to supply manuscript to Ustaz. And of course, he charged very high price for each manuscript that he bought from Egypt, mostly from Egypt. I think Ahmad Zaki is still there. Maybe can continue to supply. When I was deputy dean here, I collected about 100 over manuscript, Malay manuscript. And it costs us not that expensive, 100 over 160,000. And of course, those manuscripts need treatment. And according to Hajjah, that it was treated, or the text was treated. So as a result, we have Malay manuscript here too. We have Arabic, we have Persian, we have Quranic translation into English by Calvin or Luther in handwriting. Of course, the book al-Biruni in handwriting, or al-Biruni book on geometry, which you discussed 2 weeks ago, and so on. So we have very unique collection here. And people, I've heard from 5 or 6 researchers, they say that Istaq library is the most unique library. So where you can have all the original books in handwriting, manuscripts. Manuscript means human in handwriting. And also you have, which I did some research on, is Hikayat Binatang Abdullah Mushi. Now the Hikayat Binatang Abdullah Mushi is very important work. People may like Abdullah Mushi, they may not like Abdullah Mushi, because he to the so-called modern world. And people accuse him being the Talibarot of Christians and so on. And also, but there's another matter. The most important thing, that he produced the first Malay textbook, the first Malay school textbook. And you just imagine all teachers that we have in this country, they want to read this first Malay textbook. Of course, the subject matter is science, not zoology, but they call it the animals. The story of the animal throughout the world. Malays never heard of other world except their own world. But with the writing of Abdullah Mushi, with the work of Mushi, then we came to know about the whole world, about Europe, about here, about all the animals there, how they live, all the seasons there, how they protect themselves, and what is the, what are the features, what do they like to eat, what they want to eat, what they don't want to eat, the 4 seasons, how do they go into hybrid, and so on and so forth. Very standard, just like a book on biology of almost like today. So, and this was a collection made by Abdullah Mushi from, of course, from the various writings, maybe from some books, from notes, from magazines, from many other sources that he put together into one book, and he called it Binatang. Of course, he wrote Hikayat, he called it Hikayat again. No, Buku Binatang, but Hikayat Binatang. And it was used as a textbook in Presbyterian Church, Presbyterian Church. Of course, Sultan Abu Bakar used it, Sultan of Johor, they studied there in the Presbyterian school, and the missionary, Casbury. Of course, I think most probably Casbury Romanized. Because Abdul Mushi, he kept noticing. So he won't do that. He wouldn't know that. Because he wrote all Yari, not a single one in Umi. But suddenly he kept moving came in Umi. So Casbury, who learned Malay in Batavia and who came here, he wanted to spread the news of Christianity and try to missionary activities, do missionary activities here, try to convert, because he failed. That's why Abdullah Mushi himself said in Hikayat Abdullah, we have Hikayat Abdullah here also. He said, I mean, if you don't really want to be a Christian, no single book in the world can make you a Christian, unless you yourself want to be a Christian. So it doesn't mean that missionary activities, you may learn about the world, but you don't need to be a Christian by going to missionary school or by learning them. But even by learning the Bible doesn't make you a Christian, but you increase your knowledge in a book. Yeah, I consider that Bible as a book. Now, after that, suddenly when Prof. Attas bought from Harasovic many books, I think in bulk, it cost a lot of million, maybe about 4 million. I may be mistaken. I think around 2 to 4 million ringgit. And then one of the book happened to be the Sikat Minatang. The Sikat Minatang that I'm talking about. In the whole world, there are only 3 copies of Sikat Minatang. There's one in London, in School of Oriental, one in Singapore, in the Singapore National Library, and one here, which is a unique thing. Only 3 copies left. So as a result, of course, I translated into English again, and also I wrote an introduction. I put many footnotes there. Because it has Allah, this we can change to Tuhan and put in the footnotes. Initially, originally, the word is Allah. So the book is still here. I think in the library is very important. It's a rare collection, and of course, I hope to publish this book. If Ishtak is interested, it's even better. I don't know. I've completed it about 3 years ago, and I still keep it because I don't know, because so much controversial about Allah, can use Allah or cannot use Allah, and this kind of thing. Now, after that, I say he used from the Caribbean, many concepts from Baitul Hikmah, and then of course, as the comparative study is very important, I was teaching Oriental philosophies then. I ordered a lot of books in Hinduism, not to make people Hindus, but to make them having knowledge about their neighbors or about the other civilization, other tradition. Until Parata told me this Islamic institute, not a Hindu institute, why are you ordering so many Hindu? I think we need to know comparative. Comparative is very important discipline of knowledge. With comparative, you can develop many things with comparative studies. So comparative in everything, comparative literature, comparative religion, comparative, you can learn from others, which is nothing wrong learning from others. You see, I mean, the hikmah is the lost treasure of the Muslim, and wherever you find it, you should take it in as something belong to you. And also some of the effort were mentioned in the Quran, like Luqman al-Hakim. He wasn't a Rasul, he wasn't a prophet, he wasn't a Nabi, he wasn't a... But he was mentioned as a great man of wisdom. Why? Zulkarnain too, and many others. Now, which indicate that we have to be more open to other ideas, to other civilization, because all belongs to the same truth. It belongs to God. They may deviate here and there, then we should identify where they deviate. It's not by shunning them out like that. So after that, of course, we make collection, a lot of collection. I was trying to make collection of Melayu manuscript and to buy Kitab Kuning. There's a lot of Kitab Kuning in there. But I wasn't be able because I couldn't get the budget. But now today, if you want to get the Kitab Kuning, you may still have. You may be able to have it in like Yala, in Laka, in some part of Penang, and also in Singapore. You may be able to get the Kitab Kuning again. You may be able to get the Kitab Kuning again in those bookstores. You must have it because they have stopped printing. In Penang, they've stopped printing. I heard in Yala also they may stop printing because it's not marketable. It's not marketable. So while they are there, I think Wisma Yakin you can have also. Should buy all this Kitab just to keep it. Just to keep it in the library. So that you can have this collection of Kitab Kuning in Malay, and they're very important. And you can make use for research and so on later on. Now, again, I want to add, do I have more time? 5 minutes. Now, what is important is other libraries. Okay, I have been to many libraries. We have in Kitab Kuning, we have Hikayat Kejadian 7 Petala Langit dan Bumi. It was written by Nuruddin Araniri. Dalam Tajul Muluk. Tajul Muluk also you can buy from Wisma Yakin. It's in the marginal area, marginal part, in the margin. I mean, in the margin of Tajul Muluk, you have this Hikayat. It's written by Nuruddin Araniri, the famous Achinese scholar after Hamzah Fansuri. and we publish a number of books on it. Now you have that you have the language number me until the end, like in the margin. This have been saying, and most probably this is the fasal pertama kepada Bustanul Sarajin. It's the first fasal of Bustanul Sarajin. The complete collection of Bustanul Sarajin is never complete. You have one in Malaya, but not complete. But the fasal pertama is missing. So where is the pasal pertama? The first pasal pertama is di Tajuk Muluk. So we have to buy the Tajuk Muluk. Now, is it the only one? No. In Jakarta National Library, you have the Hikayat al-Akhirah, written by Ranuri also. So what we should do is we compare between Hikayat Kejadian dan Hikayat Penghabisan, the beginning of the world and the destruction and the final. And we should compare between the two, so to make a right cycle of the concept of time and space in the Islamic thought and philosophy. So as a result, we can buy. I think we can buy from the National Library. They will charge, but if we cannot get the book itself, because they want to keep it as their treasure. And of course, the Indonesian law is very, very tough on bringing out manuscript from the country. But we can get a digitalized copy. I think if we can get this one is going to be a big publication, very significant and very meaningful publication to compare between the creation and also the finality, the final of creation. And from there, you can get the idea of himself and what he thinks of time, beginning, and this world, next world, dunya and akhirah, what is near and what is far, and so on and so forth. Now, I think I don't have much time left, maybe 2-3 minutes. I think the work of al-Attas should be kept in the library, all the al-Attas should be kept in the library. Some of the books may be missing from here. For example, his master's thesis, Sufism as practiced and understood by the Malays. Sufism as understood and practiced by the Malays. The one you have to get to bring here. And then his concept of Din, the concept of Din, and his reputation of drivers. That was, and of course, Islam dalam sejarah dan kebudayaan Melayu, the correct date of Terengganu manuscript, Rubaiyat Hamzah Fansuri, and it's earlier on in Rubaiyat Khayyam, during his BA days. In first degree, he wrote on Rubaiyat Khayyam also. So all this collection should be here, and also the collection of other scholars from here. Collection of other scholars means not only books, but notes, papers, what they said, the ideas, interviews, all like, for example, as you give. Now, he has one corner there. Everything about him, what people said about him also. Not what he said, but what others said about him. And the collection, what his participation, all his notes, all his presentation and so on and so forth. For example, of course, we have many other scholars here. And each one should be kept here as if they continue to be alive, the mind continue to be alive in the small corner of the library, so that in hundreds of years people may learn again. That's why I said Swan Sang, he went with one book, not the whole China became Buddhism. Just because of one book. It's called The Doctrine of Mere Consciousness. I have one copy, Al-Attas has one copy, and Osman Bakar has one copy. I think he said only 3 copies. Yeah, it was translated into English in Hong Kong by Ritat, by a person named Ritat. He translated from Chinese Mandarin into English. I have one copy I bought when I was in US. But I think I don't have much time left, and I just want to say that, and thank you very much for inviting me. I may not give many information to you. Should get some other people also who can assist and help, inshallah. So I'm ready with the questions. If you want to ask anything, I'll try my best to answer. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome, Prof. Very fruitful and also deep, what we call studies and also information about the library, Syed Naquib. So I open to the floor, to face over here. If you have any question to respected Dato, you can arise. And also those who are online, you can text in the chat box for the Zoom and also for the YouTube channel, Istad YouTube and Istad TV. You can also put your write your questions over there. So I will read over here. So any questions?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Dato Baharuddin, for such an insight on the fundamentals and rudimentary beginnings and ideas about this institution, ISTAC, as well as the library. They are one organic entity, one supporting the other. And and also you narrated very important episodes coming from yourself, Prof. Naquib, and many others. So these are the things that I think is valuable for us to know and for researchers to know. And also you have also evoked the function of the library, function of such a library in civilization and in the comparative studies, and how we should treat an institution like this. So this is, I think this is a good beginning from, first one was Dr. Ain, who evoked a holding of the library, which is reported in the library, and yourself. Also, you mentioned many things, including Hikayat Binatang. And we welcome, we hope the Dean will support us, the publication of Hikayat Binatang by Abdullah Munshi. I think, and I'm just you giving an idea of maybe the holdings of the books of materials of Abdullah Munshi in the library. This is another. No, we have not. I've not asked them yet, so I'm asking them now. Exactly. Yeah, this is another thing. Different facets of Abdullah Munshi. Now, one of the things which we're doing is to look into maps, which is in the library holdings. There are maps scattered, and there are maps, lost maps, and there are maps in the publications bought by the library, and we are displaying it. We intend to display it and to reproduce it. When we reproduce it, I think it'll be the second original, and so that people know such holdings in the library. So I have no question, but just want to comment that we're glad that we have accepted our invitation for the benefit. Yeah. Thank you.
Any question from the floor? No. So maybe I can ask you one question, Dato. Since you do have over here, simple question. Okay, we do have over here, there are 32 scholars you mentioned just now, that one of them is Fazlur Rahman. So that people's researchers, students know about the ideas and how do Fazlur Rahman write notes and everything in terms of his studies and also his research. So for us over here, since I'm manning this library, people keep on asking me and our teams, how do this collection being acquired by Prof. Syed Naquib, the manuscript, the spare rare collections, and also this scholars collection, how do his contact, or what is the mechanism by Prof. Syed Naquib?
No, there's no particular mechanism. Of course, you have the Harasovic sales, I think every year. Harasovic sales every year, and then you just have to go there for Harasovic. I think they have sale every year. And of course, you cannot bargain too much. Because you're not the only one who bargain. There are many people who bargaining there. If you're ready with enough money, then you can get. That's where how we get most of the collection here from the Harasovic. Number two, from Zaki. Zaki used to travel to Egypt and Middle East. He can try to find books. Of course, Prata will tell Zaki, I want exactly this book, this book, this book. And then Zaki will try to find the book. Right? Of course, the price is high, because you cannot question too much about the high price and so on. If you question the high price, then you won't be able to get it. Number three, you should travel yourself, and also you should have contact with other scholars in overseas. Like Prof. Makek, he brought a lot of works from Iranian civilization to here. It's not Prof. Makek. And if you know other scholars, you should write to them and also ask them to get this book. Most probably it's in their country, most probably in one of their collections, mostly from their friends. And don't bargain too much, like those stuff that you have under the wings, and also the shields, and also protector armor thing that you have downstairs. If you bargain, then you won't get it. So al-Attas just agree that he will buy it. And then when he went there, I think he went to France or Germany. When he went there, they look at him with his beard and so on. It's all right, we give you. Because how he looks. Other people don't have that look. Because he's look like Asian. Yes. Then we give it to him. So anyways, of course, we can find, if you want to find like digital copies, you can have catalog of other libraries. Of course, you have to, I can't agree with digital copies and so on. But nowadays, it's not a choice. If you want to have a lot of collection, you have to get digital copies. And one of them is what I said, Hikayat al-Akhirah. Hikayat al-Akhirah or Kitab al-Akhirah? Kitab al-Akhirah. Al-Akhirah. There's a National University of, National Library of Jakarta, National University in Jakarta. I saw, I went there, I saw. Now, how he acquired, that's the way how he acquired. And he sent messages to many friends of his, whether they can find this book, the original, if possible. Then he has a very lavish spending on buying manuscript and books at that time. He got extra money for that. He should have extra money, then it's possible to buy. It's not impossible. What else do you have? You have the German, once a year they have in Germany, right? Where they sell all books and used books and so on. And you have in Japan also. Once a year you have in Japan too. And many in Holland, I'm sure you have in Holland also. And somewhere else you can find out more, maybe like Cambridge or us also, they may want to sell some of the stuff, some of the materials. But that's the way how they get money to continue with with the library of their own university. So I think that's it.
Okay, another thing, we do have over here, there is flora and fauna inside the library. You can see that there is fish, and also there is in the ceramic around this floor, and also the rest of the floors, and also birds. Actually, what is the ideas or the philosophy behind this kind of the flora and fauna that we can see?
As I mentioned earlier, I mean, the world is one. You can see the world as diverse, but actually it's one. One is in the other. One is in the other. The origin of man is one only. It's the sperm and the ovum. And then as a single dot, then it starts to grow. And then the growth of the heart. After heart, it open up, then you have two down there. And heart in the middle. It's like a flower. Like the flower opening up. Man, human being is also like flower. It's opening up from one center to diversity. But not the diverse. Diverse also in unity. Because it has a function. But the function because of relationship between the mind and the heart. Between the emotion and akal. Between art and sciences. Between those things. So they are all in one. So beauty is also very, very important. You cannot say beauty, you can create beauty. You can find beauty in tragedy. But you cannot reason it out. Aristotle failed to reason out. Why tragedy? So why tragedy? How do we talk from philosophy? It's not complete philosophy. It's like an episode, an event. It's there. It's already there. Beauty is already there. Beauty doesn't come, it does evolve, but it doesn't come from reason. It doesn't come from logic. It just comes direct. There are things in life that come direct. There are things in life that you have to go through the process of study. This kind of thing, all in one. The many is in one. That's why I said they are all kaki buaya. You go somewhere else, a table kaki buaya. This one thing, yeah, rhinoceros, kaki rhinoceros, bunga Tanjung, semua dalam, inside the building. Huh? I don't know where, somewhere. Somewhere. I don't know, this one is. But then also the card. I said the pattern, some are similar to Caribbean library, some of the patterns. And some of the patterns are from somewhere else, some his own creation, Mukarnas, for example. They indicate there's no cut, there's no total cut off between heaven and earth. There's only a relationship between heaven and earth. Because heaven is not flat, not that you can cut off. That is maybe in the Christian approach. But Islamic approach, the above is related to the below. So related is like tumbuh daripada atas tumbuh ke bawah. Macam bunga daripada atas tumbuh ke bawah, mukarnas. That give a relationship. And birds, of course, bird is very important symbol in there are a lot of birds, because bird you can see there, the Italian, those were brought from Italy, those plates. They were from Italy. But of course the right one, he chose the right one. Now there are a lot of birds, symbols of bird, as you know, Mantil Kutair of Attar. Birds, Al-Ghazali spoke about bird during his death. He said, I'm like a bird in the cage, now the cage is broken and the bird fly away. The bird travel. But the body is always considered like a cage. There is in another lecture. The body is like a cage, it's keeping us, doesn't give us the freedom. And the world is like missing. And it's very close, the cut. Too close. The name of God is too close between one and the other. As a result, you cannot see clearly. It's only when you transcend this life, when you transcend your level of reality, you can see that it's a big opening up there. There's no cross between one and the other. They are in a good condition. That's what Ibn Arabi said. So, yeah, birds is very important in all civilization. In all civilization, birds is the symbol of life, of ruh, of spirit. The bird is spirit. Even the moon also, in Malay kita kata apa? Ku semangat, ku semangat. Semangat hilang, ku semangat. Masuk boleh, ku Semangat tu borong tu, semangat is part of the borong. Of course, the jiwa and also the roh. Finally, so all the symbols you can see in here. Of course, you have to find one by one. I cannot really explain each one. Many other things I can explain. But we have to find out lah apa dia sebab yang ada di situ. One by one. A special study on the library, all the symbols.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dato, apa khabar? Okay, my name is Wan Ahmad Arshad. I am an independent antiquarian. Very few of us in Malaysia independent. I would rate myself as a professional in the antiquarian due to the facts that I make a living out of the job. Okay, today I don't know whether it's relevant or not. Me and my son, we are here today to bringing two manuscripts, which I believe that the oldest and the original work of Sheikh Nuruddin Ar-Raniri, Siratul Mustaqim, and another one is Durul Faraid, dated back in 1640 and 1644. So I'd like to invite the floor, if time is permit, to look at the specimen, I call it, at the manuscripts, lepas ni, inshallah. So, and back to the role of antiquarian. I think it's time for the librarians, especially we have here the chief librarians. I think the antiquarian, especially the independent antiquarian like me, need to be heard, need to be seen. So we are coming out now and hoping that we can work hand in hand dengan ISTAC, dengan PNM, Arkib Negara, whereby I consistently for I think for the past 10 years has contributed to the esteemed organizations like PNM, Pustakaan Negara, National Library, and also National Archives. So with that, I think I wish to thank to the organizer for inviting me. My apology, lambat sikit sampai sebab ada due to the prior commitment back home. So anyway, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, maybe this is the last. Maybe this is the last question to.
On one note, you mentioned about, interestingly, the acquisition of Sunni and Shia materials. I think this was, I don't know, I've not seen any labeling or in the library of Sunni studies or Shia studies. Because at one time I was in Qom, Iran, one madrasa. I don't know, perhaps it was for us, but there was the library and they have this Sunni studies beside the Shia studies, shelves and materials. This will be for, for enlightening and understanding purposes. I think we classify that and we allow people to facilitate understanding of this too. Yeah.
That's one. Yeah, there are two things. First of all, during the earlier days, the Shia hadith and the Sunni hadith and Shia collection of hadith and the Sunni collection of hadith were there, and it was not anything like kind of sensitive about it. You can accept this Shia hadith and this Sunni hadith. This Shia collection is, then some of them are similar. How do they define how do they categorize between Sahih and Hasan and Da'if and Mutawatir or not Mutawatir? And many other classes. There are about 10 more classes. Now, they are very open. They were very open during that time. Even the Sunnis say, if you want to find the work is Mutawatir or not, you have to look into the Shia collection of hadith. Right? So it's not a problem nowadays. Nowadays, it can be a problem, of course, especially here. When I was in Iran, many times. They never asked me whether you're Sunni or you're Shia. But when I come back here, they say, are you Shia or you Sunni? So Sunni is very important. Even the work of, for example, Abdurrahman Jami was translated into Malay or made use by Hamzah Fansuri a lot because he was a Sunni, not a Shia. That's why Abdurrahman Jami is popular here compared to the Shia writing. And also in China. He was popular in China too. And this is another good study. You have Abdurrahman Jami, China, you have Malay, you have Iranian, you have Arabic. Right? Abdurrahman Jami. Of course, he simplified the saying of Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi is so hard to understand. How can we understand Fusus and also Futuhat? But Abdurrahman Jami make it in a small lawa'i. Very easy. So Hamzah made use of some of his work. Because say make use. How you make use if you are not a person yourself? Can a Sufi write something about Sufism? You have to be a Sufi to understand and to translate a Sufi book. You yourself has to be that. So it's not Malay or non-Malay. It's who you are. Who you are is important. I think people always look at you are from what? From Iran. This from Egypt. This from, not from only, but two is also as important. So, and also Islam don't look at Malay. Islam look at its knowledge as universal, not Arabic or Iranian. So we have to maybe start again. So thank you. I think I don't know if it's allow that, but here is quite sensitive, Yeah. I want to add another point to what I've said. According to Attas, that a scholar has to be the head of the library, not the head of like staff in charge, no, but taking care of the library. It must be a scholar. So a scholar has also to be a scholar librarian. Not librarian alone, but a scholar librarian. He always mentioned this to me before. Oh, yeah.
Scholar library.
So scholar library.
Run the institution. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the idea also.
Okay, I think that's all Dato, for the question and answer. And I think that is the end of our session for today. Okay, thank you so much, respected Dato, for a wonderful and also for very fruitful presentation. On behalf of ISTEC IUM, Syed Naquib al-Attas Library and Organizing Committee, we would like to thank to Yang Berbahagia Dato for your presentation today. To remark our appreciation, I invite Honorable Dean, Professor Aziz, to give a token of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Dato. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Abdul Aziz. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we now come to the end of our program today. On behalf of ISTEC, Seminal, and also Organizing Committee, we would like to thank for your attendance and also present today and and also participation face-to-face and online. We apologize for any shortcoming during the program. So let us end our program by reciting Surah Al-Asr. Okay, I invite Dato all to have